Now, what are the drivers of adaptive radiation? Let's talk about it. Mainly, environmental opportunities. Adaptive radiation often follows the colonization of a new environment. Let's say a species is now moving to a different environment. They are trying to colonize that particular area. They are trying to stay in that area, right? Now, this they move to a new environment. Let's say many different species, they moved to this particular environment. Different birds did, and they became all these birds evolved to have different features. Yes, they had diverse habitats, new challenges, and let's say if they move to a new environment where it was not very much inhabited by other species, it had relatively less competition. It had little competition. And such examples of such land masses include what? Islands, lakes, or let's say some newly available terrestrial environments. There might be some volcanic activity, and after some time the lava might cool down and this volcano might not remain active, and after some time gradually this place might become inhabitable, and this is how new land masses are created, right? New terrestrial environments are also created. Also at times rivers dry up, ponds dry up, lakes dry up, and then after drying up these become land masses because plants take over, and this is how ecological succession takes place. New terrestrial environments are created. Also lakes and islands, these are unexplored areas. So yes, organisms, different species, they can go for adventures. Like birds can easily do it because they can fly from one continent, or let's say one island to another island, and they can inhabit that island. And let's say if there is very less competition there, resources are available, it can actually stay there, and according to that particular island, according to the conditions, according to the environmental opportunities, it can adapt and it can develop new features, thereby resulting in adaptive radiation.
Before we proceed, I have something very important to tell you. Please listen carefully. Anthroholic has launched its complete study material for anthropology optional. This includes complete notes for paper 1, complete notes for paper 2, all the previous year questions from 1985 till the latest exam. And everything in these notes is arranged topic wise, properly organized. Also, this material is regularly updated with latest case studies and current affairs. You can check it out from the link in the description below. Also, if you would like to connect with us, you can join us on Telegram and Instagram at Anthroholic. Thank you. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel as well.
Now, what are the key innovations? Well, new traits like flight in birds can drive adaptive radiation by opening up new ecological opportunities. Because flight was something that was initially not there. Dinosaurs, there were land animals. But then this flight, this ability to fly came with some dinosaurs, and then gradually when birds took over, there was a common link between the two Archaeopteryx, which suggests that the theory, the fact that birds evolved from the late stage dinosaurs, which actually developed flight, and later on birds took over, and they had feathers, they had lighter bodies, they had pneumatic bones, hollow bones, which helped them in flight. So yes, new traits, like if we talk about the evolution of birds, yes, flight was something that got introduced in the due course of evolution, and it could drive adaptive radiation by opening up new ecological opportunities. Now we'll talk about extinctions. So mass extinctions clear niches, as you have heard about dinosaurs. Yes, the meteor theory, where there were mass extinctions, so many dinosaurs were wiped out from this planet. Yes, these events actually end up in clearing the niches. And let's say some organisms, they are fortunate enough to survive. If those species survive, they adapt to these harsh conditions to which, let's say, many others could not survive. Yes, many others could not survive the changes because of such mass extinctions, and they actually got extinct. They perished from this planet. But some did, some stayed, some species did survive, and the ones that survived, they actually diversified and adapted new roles and adapted to these harsh conditions, and they thrived, and they are thriving till today. Now we'll talk about examples of adaptive radiation. Firstly, most important one, Darwin's finches. As you can see, these 4 finches all having different beaks. Look at this beak, then this one, all are having different beaks. They are finches, yes, finches of Galapagos Islands. Darwin went to Galapagos Islands on his voyage, and then he actually studied these organisms, and this led to the famous Darwin's theory, right, and his book, The Origin of Species. So yes, Darwin's finches. These finches are named after Darwin. Most famous example is, this is a most famous example of adaptive radiation, because in Galapagos Islands, because these were islands, these were relatively isolated, and there was an ancestral species of these finches. What he saw, that from an ancestral species, these finches, they diversified into multiple species, multiple different types of species. There was branching, and this is how we can draw a phylogenetic tree as well. These finches, they diversified into multiple species with different beak shapes, different beak sizes, each beak adapted to specific food sources. Let's say some bird was feeding on seeds or nuts. It required a large beak to hit and break open the seeds and nuts. Let's say this was adapted for this kind of a feature, this kind of a feeding on seeds and nuts. Let's say some feeded on insects, they had smaller beaks, slender beaks. Some also fed on nectar, they actually needed more slender beaks, right? So for feeding on nectar, this was required, because flowers, there could have been funnel shaped flowers. For that, this kind of a beak was required. So according to the demands, according to the needs, according to various feeding needs, this is how they adapted. And as they adapted, they radiated from a common ancestor. And this is why this is a key example, a classic example of adaptive radiation. Apart from this, there are cichlid fish in African lakes. African cichlid fish are another classic example of adaptive radiation. See, there are so many types, as you can see, various colors, all looking different from each other. But again, there are cichlid fishes. Their fin shapes are different. Yes, you can see different fin shapes, different colors, so many differences. Yes, not only their appearances. If you see in lakes like Lake Victoria and Lake Malawi, these cichlid fish have diversified into hundreds of species. These are a few representative ones. There are so many more with varied feeding strategies, habitats, and behaviors. What is this? This is adaptive radiation, because they are evolutionarily related to a common ancestor, but yet they are different, because according to their needs, according to their demands, according to the demands of their particular habitat, they adapted and they radiated. This is adaptive radiation again. Another example of birds. Yes, these are honey creepers. And again, these are also related to an island. Yes, the Hawaiian Islands. Yes, Hawaiian Islands. These birds are native to Hawaiian Islands, and they have undergone adaptive radiation to fill various ecological niches. Now, they also have different beaks. See, you can see this has a hook-like beak. This has a different beak. This has a different beak. All these birds, you can see here, they have different beaks. They have different beak shapes, different sizes, adapted for different feeding habits, such as nectar feeding, insect eating, and seed cracking. As you saw in the case of Darwin's finches, these are some different birds, but yes, again, the story is the same, essentially the same, and this also represents adaptive radiation. Another example, mammalian radiation after the dinosaur extinction. What happened is, in the story of evolution, as you know, mass extinction of dinosaurs took place. And the extinction of dinosaurs took place from now, if you trace back to 65 million years ago. Around 65 million years ago is represented as MYA. So 65 million years ago, following this extinction of dinosaurs, what happened is mammals, they started taking over, because dinosaurs, the age of reptiles was there in the story of evolution. And since dinosaurs, they dominated the land, they were the major predators. Once dinosaurs vanished from this planet, now the major species, the large species after the dinosaurs left on this planet, were the mammals. And now mammals started taking over. Mammals started spreading on this planet because they were the new kings. The dinosaurs were no more. And these mammals rapidly diversified to occupy the niches left vacant. And this led to the evolution of various forms, including bats, whales, primates, and ungulates. So many, you name all the species. And of course, the story of humans comes much later. But yes, we are also mammals, and then we ended up colonizing the whole planet. The study of anthropology came later on. So, if you talk about this story of evolution, this is how mammalian radiation took place. Yes, mammals also adapted to different habitats, different needs, and they actually dominated the oceans, they dominated the land. Yes, who dominated the oceans? Blue whales. Blue whales are also mammals. But do they look like us? No. Do we have a common ancestor? Yes. That is why mammalian radiation is also a classic example of adaptive radiation.
Thanks for watching this video. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our Telegram for regular updates. I'll see you in the next one.